Okay, number 13 says, what is the rate of change for the relationship shown in the table? So rate of change just is another way of writing slope. So remember, my slope is the change in y over the change in x. So if I just look at what the change in my y is, I went from negative 14 to a negative 11, which is a positive 3. And then my change in my x, from negative 8 to negative 4, that means I went up by 4. So my rate of change, or my slope, is going to be 3 over 4. Number 14 says, what are the x and the y intercepts of the equation? So remember, our x, my y value is always 0, and my x value is always 0. So if I take this and I'm trying to figure out the x, I'm going to replace my y, I'm going to replace my y with 0, and then solve for the x. So that means I will have 20x equals negative 40. If I divide by 20 on both sides, x is going to equal a negative 2. So we have negative 2, 0. If I do the y, I'm replacing my x with 0 and solving for the y. So I will have a negative 5y equals negative 40. Divide by negative 5 on both sides, and I'll have a positive 8. So my y would be 0, 8. Okay, number 15, it says, in which step below does a mistake first appear in simplifying the expression? So let's just take it one step at a time. This is the original problem. The first thing I should do is distribute to get rid of the first parentheses. So 0.5 times a negative 12c, that's going to give me a negative 6c. And 0.5 times 6 is going to give me a positive 3. So if I look at step 1, did they get negative 6 plus 3? Yes. So step 1 looks like it's good. Okay, let's go to the next step. That means I should distribute the negative 3 here in the middle. So negative 3 times c would give me negative 3c. Negative 3 times 4 would give me negative 12. So on step 2, do I have negative 3 minus 12? Yes. So that looks good. Okay, let's keep going. The next step, I would distribute the 10. So 10 times c would be a positive 10c. 10 times a negative 5 would give me a negative 50. So it looks like I have a positive 10c minus 50. That looks good. So the only other step I have is step 4, which obviously that's going to be it. But let's see why it's it. If I combine my like terms, I have all these c values right here. I have negative 6c minus 3c. That would give me a negative 9c. And then plus 10c. So negative 9c plus 10c would give me 1c. And look what they have, 7c. So right there, I can stop and I know for sure that that step 4 is going to be the wrong step. Okay, number 16 says the value of y varies directly with x. Which function represents the relationship between x and y if y equals 20 over 3 when x equals 30? Okay, we have a couple ways we can look at this, but we've talked about this before. Anytime we see varies directly, we're just comparing, and it said y varies with x, so that's what we're comparing. So now if I take what they've given me, y is 20 over 3, and I'm going to compare that to my x, which is 30. If I look at this problem, you guys, 20 over 3 divided by 30. So let's write that out. 20 over 3 divided by the number 30. And because this is a fraction, I'm going to turn this one into a fraction. And we know that we never divide fractions. We always multiply by the reciprocal. So now I'm going to flip the second fraction over, and then I'm going to multiply. So 20 times 1 is 20. 3 times 30 is 90. I can simplify this by 10, so that's just going to give me 2 over 9. So I'm looking for something that has 2 over 9 in it. And if I look, I can see that G is going to give me that correct answer. Now, if I wasn't sure, I could always take my the one I think is it, plug this 30 in for x and see what I get. So if I have 2 over 9 times 30, 2 times 30 would give me 60, and then 9 times 1 is 9. If I try to simplify that, I know 3 will go into 60 20 times, and 3 will go into 9 3 times, so I end up with this as my y. And isn't that what we started with the y? So that one's going to work. So G is the correct answer. Okay, number 17 says, students at a school will sell hats to raise money. There are some hats left over from last year, and 20 boxes of hats will be ordered this year. When the order arrives, the total number of hats the students will have can be determined using the function f of x equals 48x plus 37, where x represents the number of boxes ordered. If the number of hats per box changes so that the situation is modeled by the function h of x equals 24x plus 37, then how many fewer hats will the students have available to sell if they still order 20 boxes? So remember, the x is representing the number of boxes ordered. And how many boxes are they ordering? They're ordering 20 boxes. So that means we can do, again, a couple of different ways. I think this is just the easiest way. I'm going to take the original problem of 48x. I'm replacing my x with 20, and I have 37. I'm going to figure out what that answer is. Then I'm taking the new equation, which is 24x plus 37, replacing my x with that same 20, because that's how many boxes they're going to order, and see what that answer is. And then I can just subtract between the two answers to find out how many fewer hats they have. That's what we were trying to find, right? Excuse me. Okay, so let's try this. If I do 48 times 20 plus 37, I get 997. If I do my 24 times 20 plus 37, I get 517. Now if I subtract those two numbers, I'm going to get 480. So we are going to have 480 fewer hats to sell this year. Okay, number 18 says, which graph shows a function with a domain of all real numbers greater than 7? So there's two words in here we want to take care of. Domain, of course, means we're looking for x values. Showing a function, remember my function means my x's can't repeat, correct? So do you guys recall that if it's a function, can it be a vertical line? Because then does that not fail the vertical line test? So B can't be it. And this is also not a function, so D can't be it. So I'm only looking at either A or C. So now I'm looking for where it says all real numbers greater than 7. Okay. Sorry, hang on. Okay, all real numbers greater than 7. So that means I'm starting at 7 on my x-axis, and I'm going this way, right? And I need greater than, so I mean I'm not filling it in. So this is an empty circle at 7. That looks good. This one is going to be starting at 0 and including everything from 0 on. Well, that's not what that says. So C is not it. A would be the correct answer. Okay, the last one for this particular paper, it says a painter charges $35 per hour for labor plus $40 for a ladder rental when he paints a house. The customer provides the paint. The total charge to paint a customer's house was $950. How many hours did the painter spend painting this house? Okay, so let's write an equation first. It says he's charging $35 per hour plus $40 to rent a ladder. And that's going to give the total amount, right? Okay, so then he says he's charging $950. So if we replace the T with 950, and now I have this equation, all I have to do is solve for H. So again, if we have our calculators, very simple, put it into InSolve. Put a comma H here. So when we solve, our H comes out to be 26 hours. So if we look at our answer choices, you can see we don't have a 26 here. So J is going to be the correct answer on number 19.